Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we will discuss about the stack data structure in Python. So basically stack is a linear data structure that stores item in a last in and first out format. In a stack, a new element is added at one end and an element is removed from that end only. As you can see in this picture, first of all, this container is empty and I am here pushing an element that is 19 number into a container and it is adding at the top of it. Then we are pushing here 4, then 0. So as you can see that we have got a stack here of elements 19, 4, 0, 22 and 15. So as you can see that we are adding the element as last element into a stack, and when we are going to pop it, it will pop the first element out from the stack. Like in this case, we are just popping out the 15, and in last container as you can see that we have just got 22, 0, 4 and 19. Similarly, when we apply pop function here, it will pop the 22 from it and then 0, 4 and 19 will left. So that's why we call it as a last in and first out. So these are the various functions that are associated with stacks. So the number one is empty. It will return whether the stack is empty with a time complexity of constant. Then there is a function size. It will return the size of the stack with the same time complexity. And then there is a function top. It will return the topmost element of the stack with time complexity O1. Push G. This will push the element G at the top of the stack with the same time complexity 1. And there is a pop function that will remove the topmost element from the stack. So these are some of the functions that we can use with stack. So let's come to my coding screen and see how we can implement a stack in Python. So now we will see the implementation of stack in list and collection module of Python. So this is basically a skeleton structure that I have created for you. Like we will first create a class here stack, then initializing it and creating a constructor, then push, pop, print, peek and size. These are the functions that we are going to write for the stack. So first of all, let's create an empty container here. Let's name it as container and pass empty list to it. Then we are going to fill this push function that will automatically push the element that we will pass in the function parameters into this container. So let's write here. So this append method of list will automatically append this element into the last of this container, and then we will return a simple statement. This will tell us that this element is pushed. So now let's write a pop function for our stack. So first of all, I have created an if statement here. It will check the length of the stack. If it is 0, then it will return that the stack is empty. And in else condition, we will write like this. So basically in this line, I have written a pop function of list. It will remove the last element and store it into a variable temp. Then we can return this temp. So now this will return us the element that is going to pop from the stack. Now let's fill this print function. So here I am going to print this container in the reverse order so we can see how our stacks basically looks like. So I have written here print statements like this. So we will see it at later how this will show us the results in a better way. So now let's write this peek function. It will return the last element from the stack so that we know that what is the top element of our stack. So here also I have used this if else condition. If the container if the length of the container is 0, it will return empty stack, and if not, it will return the last element. As you can see, I have specified here -1. So it will return me the last element but not remove. As we can see in pop here, I am popping that last element, but in peek I am just returning the last element to see the last element in our stack. Now let's fill this function size. It will basically return me the length of the container, that is the size of the container. So as we can see that we have filled this skeleton structure of the stacks, and let's now create an empty stack and then push, pop, print and peek and check look at the size of the stack. For this I'm going to use this Python console. Let's open this Python console, and now I am going to import this code in my Python console. I'm going to import this class, that is stack. Now let's create an empty stack. Here I have created an object of stack, and let's push an element into it. As you can see, I have to give here the element. Let's give it 8. As you can see, it is saying 8 pushed. Now let's push another element. Similarly, 12 is pushed. Now let's check out this print function that we have written. So as you can see, I have here implemented the print function and it is showing 8 and 12. It means 12 is on the top element. If I here check for, if I call here peek function, it will give me 12 because 12 is at the top. Now if I'm going to pop this element from our stack, let's pop it, it will say 12 popped. And now when I print my stack, it will say that only 8 is in this stack. Now let's pop this also in from stack. Now 8 is also popped. Now our stack is empty. Now if I try to print this stack, it will show nothing. And now if I go in, now again if I pop something from it, it will show me that empty stack. Because here I have written the if condition. Now let's add some more elements into our stack. So I have here pushed the 3 elements, that is 12, 13 and 2. Let's print this stack. That is 2, 13 and 12. Let's check the size of the stack now. It will return 3 because there are 3 elements inside our stack. By this way we can use the stacks in Python. So as I told earlier, now we are going to implement the same stack using dequeue function, which we can import from collections module in Python. So let's here, this is basically a skeleton structure which is same as we created for stacks and that we are using in list. Here we are using dequeue. So let's create an empty container inside this our constructor. So here I have created an empty container. Now let's fill our push function. So by the same way we can also append and pop elements in this dequeue. So here I have append that element and let's return a string. So I have returned the string. It will tell us that we have pushed an element successfully. Now let's fill this pop function with our code. You can see here we have written the same code that we have written for when we implementing the stacks using list in Python. So now let's write the code for the print. Similarly, we have written the code for the print function. Now for peek and size also we can write the same functions. So here in the print function we can simply write like this, return self.container. It will do the same thing. So now let's run this code again in our Python console. So this time I'm going to import my stacks.dequeue, which is the name of my file, and import the stack from it. Now let's create an empty stack. So now we have created an empty stack. Now the same functions we can use this in this stack also. First of all, let's push some elements and then try to print it. Now let's print this stack. As you can see, we have 3 and 4 inside our DQ. Now let's pop the element from this stack. As you can see, 4 got popped from this. So similarly, we can just find out the size of the stack. As you can see, the size of the stack is 1 because we have popped the 4 from the stack. So by this way, we can use the stacks in Python. So hope you like this video. Do subscribe to my channel for more such kind of videos. Thanks.